This is Barnstable Today. I'm Sarah Colvin. Town Council met for over 4 hours last Thursday, but still managed to get to only a handful of agenda items due to a full house once again and a number of public comments. Town Council did manage to make a decision on one long debated item, and that was a substantial amendment to a regulatory agreement for 89 Lewis Bay Road. The item wasn't discussed until nearly 2 hours after the start of the meeting.
And we can move directly to 2011-148. And I know that at least one individual in the audience would be very happy to hear that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Nice try, though.
Won't stop me from trying again.
Councilor Barry, would you read that, please?
Certainly. I'd move that we go into a public hearing with respect to 2011-148, order authorizing the town manager to execute a substantial amendment to the regulatory agreement at 89 Lewis Bay Road, LLC, as printed further in the agenda.
First and foremost, apparently in my last meeting I stole the town council signature page, and I'd like to return that to the clerk. It was inadvertent. I noticed it getting ready for this meeting, and I apologize for that. Sorry, Linda. David Lawler, on behalf of the applicant, Lewis Bay LLC. I've been before you numerous times. With the late evening, I'm not going to go into great detail about the request. As you know, this is the owner of this operation, Chad Doe, has done or substantially all the development in this town during this great recession we're under, and unfortunately today may still be in, and has sought the relief from a regulatory agreement that was entered into in 2007 regarding the what I'll refer to, as everybody commonly knows, as the greenery. At that time, we agreed to approximately over $1 million of on-site mitigation, which we've conducted, and there was an agreement for additional mitigations. We've gone before the planning board, who's worked diligently, and I disagree, my client disagrees with their recommendation and requested that the entire mitigation be removed for the various reasons as I set forth in the prior meetings. And if council wishes me to go through those, I'd be more than happy to if asked, but I believe everybody here and in the audience is very familiar with this project. It's been discussed at great length by this forum, by the planning board, and I know it's been in the newspapers. With respect to my client, the town manager in the past has, I think, indicated he's the best thing that happened to this town in the past decade. At the state of the town, all the projects that were shown over the past decade were my clients. And this relief he is seeking in the elimination and/or reduction of the mitigation fees, I believe is appropriate for the reasons stated. Again, just for the passage of time, and I hope I'm not being too quick. If I am, I apologize, and I'll get into great detail about the matter. But if the council would have any questions concerning the request by the applicant, I'd be more than happy to entertain them. But again, this is a project that he could have walked away from, didn't, and it's continued. It's an asset to the town. The tax revenues that this particular project has produced far exceed in length of time any type of mitigation, and if you compound those with the tax revenues of the other projects, it's exponential. If you compound those with the jobs created, both temporary in construction and permanent, it's even greater. And if you compound that with the other benefits the town has received as a result of this gentleman's development and hopeful continued development throughout this period of time, it's extraordinary. And at that being said, I know that Councilor Barry was kind enough to sponsor this, and I don't know if there's any questions, but I'd be more than happy to entertain them.
Councilor Kennedy?
I have a question. Might need a follow-up, but I only have one question and a comment, if you don't mind. The question would be, you mentioned $1 million on-site mitigation. Could you could you make a list of, tell us what those on-site mitigation issues are?
Off the top of my head, and I was rounding numbers, and I apologize for not having exact figures. Initially, there was concerns about traffic. We purchased the property on School Street, which was over $500,000, had to demolish the building, which I believe was probably $30 or $40 or $50,000, pave that particular area, and create a curb cut. We put in granite sidewalks throughout the entire period, which were not there previously, and as well closed off the curb cut on South Street. There were certain lighting requirements that were done that were substantial, and in particular, there were certain requests for drainage that, again, were done. With respect to the area, it was extensively landscaped to the degree much larger than virtually any projects other than the ones that he's done himself. A lot of those were requested by the neighbors. Fences were put up, large evergreen trees were put up. There's been a tremendous amount of work with some of the local businesses, that local charities in the particular area, and I'm not even going to get into that because they weren't required, but the amount of architectural changes that were done at the time, it was a different growth management staff. However, anything that was requested, virtually anything that was requested, was agreed to on the spot. Now, some of them did have certain advantages to the property itself, but initially when we designed it, the architectural changes were much cheaper. The requests from growth management with respect to the balconies and things of that nature added hundreds of thousands of dollars to the project. So those, in a nutshell, are well over $1 million. Now, some of those, I think, would be changes that may not exactly go towards mitigation, but clearly those amounts would exceed that particular amount of $1 million in mitigation.
After some debate and questions from councilors and others, it was time to make a vote.
We're voting on the whole thing, and what we're voting is what was offered by Councilor Kennedy. To begin upon the vote. It goes into effect upon a positive vote.
My understanding, it would be $150,000. That paragraph 4 would be amended to eliminate all mitigation, but for $150,000, payable $5,000 per unit, which units are sold as of tomorrow morning, up to 30 units for a total of $150,000. Just for clarification. And the water, and then money would be directed towards School Street water.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Barry? Yes. Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilor Chirigotis?
No.
Councilor Crocker?
No.
Councilor Dagwan?
Yes.
Councilor Farnham?
Yes.
Councilor Jocham? Yes. Councilor Milne?
Yes.
Councilor Munifo?
Yes.
Councilor Norman?
No.
Councilor Tinsley? Yes. You have 9 yes and 3 no.
The item passes.
Thank you.
Town Council doesn't meet again until September 8th. At that time, they'll have yet another full agenda to deal with. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.